Welcome to the second session of our study on the book of Psalms, those songs that we find in the Old Testament that help give voice to the different experiences, those emotional and mental experiences that we have as we go through this journey of faith and as we go through life in general. You know, one thing I've noticed is that we tend to like, for some reason, sad songs. The Beatles' song, Yesterday, is possibly one of the most covered songs in popular music. Now, a covered song just means a lot of other artists have recorded it or sung it in their concerts. And if you don't know the song, it's about the pain of a lost love, how yesterday everything was good, but today everything is horrible because the singer has lost that loved one. You know, speaking of songs that have been used a lot and covered a lot, Leonard Cohen's song Hallelujah, often played during the sad montage scenes like in Shrek. It captures the heartache of a lost love with imagery taken from the Bible. In this case, though, Hallelujah is offered not in praise, but in irony. But, you know, we're not just content with sad songs. We even have sad songs about sad songs. Consider the lyrics from these songs, from a song by Weezer, "All my favorite songs are slow and sad." Or Elton John's "Sad songs say so much." Or if you really want to go back, B.J. Thomas's song, "Hey, won't you play another Somebody Done Somebody Wrong" song. Now, why are these sad songs so popular? I think it's because they provide words and emotion to pains that we struggle to understand and to cope with. But the sad song is not a modern invention. In the Psalms, we have what are called laments. And the lament is an honest cry to God about the pain that one is feeling. But the psalmist doesn't complain about the pain. It looks to God in hope. About the third of the Psalms are actually considered laments. So let's look at just one example. Psalm 6. We read there, "Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your wrath. Have mercy on me, Lord, for I am faint. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in deep anguish. How long, Lord? How long? Turn, Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. Among the dead, no one proclaims your name. Who praises you from the grave? I am worn out from my groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping, and I drench my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be overwhelmed with shame and anguish. They will turn back and suddenly be put to shame." Now, did you notice all the pain expressed in this psalm? There's a pain felt all the way in the bones. There's a sense of anguish in the soul. There's an exhaustion from crying so much. Now, I don't know if you've ever had that much physical or emotional pain that you can relate to those sentiments. I hope you haven't. But if you have, at that moment, you didn't want someone coming along and singing to you about sunshine and lollipops, did you? You know, there was a recurring character on SNL played by Rachel Dratch known as Debbie Downer. And the typical sketch featured a group of people enjoying themselves at, say, Disneyland or at a party. And they would be so happy and excited where they were and what they were doing. But then Debbie, who was a part of the group, would share some random fact that was just so negative that it just killed the vibe. Now, maybe you've experienced a Debbie Downer in your own life at some point. You know, the situation, the circumstances, they're upbeat, they're happy, but this person just keeps speaking about the negative. But there can also be the opposite of the Debbie Downer. You know, when the situation that you're experiencing is filled with sorrow and pain, you don't want someone to come over and gloss over it and tell you the bright side of things, tell you about all the good things and happy things happening in their life. Now, what your soul craves in that moment is empathy. Someone who understands the depth of your situation and what you're going through. The Psalms of Lament can provide those words of empathy. They can show you that your pain, your frustrations are not isolated to you. They can also show you that God invites our expressions of confusion and disappointment, even anger. Over the years, I've encountered people who felt that they could never express their deep pain to God. They had to kind of just gloss over it all. That they could never wonder aloud why God seemed disinterested in their painful circumstances. I tried to help these people see that the Psalms of Laments were proof that God welcomed questions and even accusations. He could handle our harsh words coming from disillusionment. Now, let me give you just one brief proof of that. When Jesus was on the cross, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus was actually quoting from Psalm 22, a psalm of lament. Here's the whole section that phrase comes from. It begins, says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer. By night, but I find no rest. Did you see that? Jesus was using a psalm of lament to express his pain in that moment. So if Jesus could do that, so can you. But going back to Psalm 6, you notice how it ends. It ends with recognition that God is active. It comes back with hope. And so that's the guide for us in a psalm of lament, is that it points out, yes, we are hurting now, but we have hope that God will act. He will meet us in our need. He will bring us to something better. So take some time now to explore these types of psalms together as a group and see what you can learn from one another. And I'll see you next week.